Okay, what if I told you your biggest training problem isn't your pace, your shoes, or even your plan? It's where you're spending your time when you run. Let's discuss the gray zone, junk miles. In this video, I'm going to break down why most runners aren't getting faster and how you can start to fix it starting right now, today. I'm Lee Grantham, a coach and professional ultra runner who went from running a marathon in 4 hours and 25 minutes to running a marathon in 2 hours and 21 minutes. And within an 11-month period, I went from 3 hours and 25 for the marathon to 2 hours and 37 minutes. That's a 48-minute jump. And I did that because I started to do the right things well. And if you want to make massive improvements in your marathon time, you want a serious breakthrough, and you want to start doing the right things consistently well and get them working for you, then book a call in the description and we can see if we're a coaching fit. I got this question from Oliver in the comments. Lee, I'd love to see a video from you on the gray zone. Obviously, most people discourage gray zone running, but no doubt there would be an aerobic and performance benefits from the gray zone if it can be done in a way that doesn't negatively impact the Wednesday interval and Sunday long run session. Is there a place for it in the weekly program, or does it impact too much on the body and therefore harm those two core sessions? Thanks, I love all your videos. Oliver from Australia. Now, it's a brilliant question. And it's great because we need to understand what we mean by gray zone. There are lots of terms in running that are either misused or described differently by different coaches, different athletes, different runners, including the gray zone, but also junk miles, threshold, tempo, intervals, marathon pace. So let's try to cut through that confusion and figure out what we actually mean by those things and when they're good and bad. Every time we go out of the door and run, we need to think and we need to ask ourselves, what is the purpose of this run? Often, people are in the gray zone when they should be doing recovery runs or easy runs. What do we actually mean by the gray zone? It's going too fast in that example. If we're meant to be doing a recovery run or an easy run, the purpose of those runs is to get us to the next big session fresh enough, so accelerate that recovery without adding any fatigue, get us to the next big session so we can really hit it and gain as much super compensation, as much improvement as we can. The typical problem, especially with newer runners, but I've seen this with 5 years, 10 years runners, is we want to go out and feel like we've done something. We want to be sweating at the end, feel like we've done some kind of a workout, when in actual fact, the purpose of the run was to recover, or an easy run, bridging the gap between recovery and the next big session. And because we want to feel like we're doing a workout, the heart rate will drift up throughout the session. As we're getting fresher and we're feeling it, we want to run faster, and therefore the heart rate will drift up into zone 3. So it's neither enhancing the recovery optimally or a faster session that's pushing us forward and getting that performance stimulus. So we're not getting a performance stimulus and we're not recovering optimally either, or building that aerobic base. So it's that middle ground between easy and hard. What's the purpose of this run? Recovery. Okay, let's make sure we feel better at the end of the run to then execute the easy run the next day to then bridge that gap to the next faster session or specific long run. If we run those too fast, then guess what? We're not ready for that next big session, so it's reduced in quality. We're not getting from the session what we really want to get. And so to think about this, the extreme, what happens with new runners is they'll run 4 or 5 times a week, usually every other day, and every time they go out and run, it's just that little bit too quick. But because they're new to running, whatever they do in the beginning, it's just inserting that habit and they will get faster. So it's this little trick, but when they start to add structure and they want to move to that next level, that might look like a midweek interval session and a specific weekend long run, then number one, they're limited because they've not built that foundation in zone 1 and zone 2. They've not built that aerobic base. Number 2, they've not ran recovery and easy runs enough to build the strength in the tendons and ligaments. So they're trying then to run quicker or further on a weak body. What they're also doing is when they try to run fast and then far, because of the gray zone running, it's too quick, it's not enhancing the recovery. When they try to run fast, it's a reduced quality session. They're not able to get out of that session what they want. Exactly the same for the long run. So everything, including those 2 big sessions, becomes in the gray zone. And you can imagine how that leads to very quickly plateauing and therefore a reduction in the motivation. It's like, well, I kind of maxed out. I've seen this a lot. You get to 3 months, you're constantly moving forward with a 5K, for example, then all of a sudden you get to 20 minutes, 25 minutes, can't get any faster, or you're taking 5 seconds off your time. You think that that's the limit, when in actual fact, you've not built from the ground up. So everything becomes just a blur. There's no performance gains, it's just fatigue. And I promise you, this runs from beginner runners all the way to people that have been running 5-10 years. Which brings us on to junk miles. Junk miles is one of the most misused terms in running, and there are lots of misused terms in running. For me, very similar to the gray zone, junk miles are just miles, time out there that lacks purpose. So it's not part of the bigger plan. It's not enhancing your recovery. It's not building your aerobic base. It's not race specific. It's often just volume or miles for volume's sake. And we don't want to be aiming at volume as the target. It's got to be as a byproduct of the sessions, the overall running. Where I often see junk miles, the term misused, is the run is too slow. Can a recovery run be too slow? I don't think it can. And although we want to be going out there and practicing the running style whilst we're building that aerobic base, the key purpose is to enhance the recovery after a big session so we can then get to an easy run day, bridge that gap to the next time we want to do a big session, we want to run fast or far. Often people will say junk miles if it's just a really short run, a 30-minute run. But if the purpose is to solely recover and to feel better at the end of the run than the start, can it be too short? I don't think so. We're also then in danger if we associate, okay, a recovery has got to be at least an hour, got to be at least an hour and 15 minutes. All of a sudden, we're getting out there, we're optimizing that recovery for a period of time, and then essentially because of the duration, we're stressing the body again, and that's taking us back into an area where we need to recover. And again, that's volume for volume's sake, and those people are not getting to the key sessions fresh enough to really hit it and get that super compensation. And the same with duration. You can run those junk miles too fast, and that would be junk miles because it's detracting from what we're actually trying to do, which is piece together quality sessions over the weeks and months so that you can run faster. I don't think I've ever used on the channel, and there's nearly 1,000 videos there, the term junk miles. I don't think I've ever used it. Correct me if I'm wrong. But when a runner or an athlete that I'm coaching brings it up, what is it? Essentially, the answer is it's miles that lack intention to the bigger picture. And just so I'm answering the question about gray zone running, no wonder you're confused, because within running, there are many terms that are used either interchangeably or completely misused. So what should you actually focus on? Forget the labels. Here's what matters. You need to focus on everything within your running game. The only way you can focus on everything is to build a strong foundation, a strong aerobic base. The reason for the all-in triangle is because essentially that's the endurance triangle. And the more surface area you've got in that triangle, the better you're going to be at distance running. As simple as that. The base of the triangle is your aerobic base, your time spent in zone 1 and zone 2. That's your engine. The longer that is, if we can build that top end, that VO2 max, which is essentially the peak of the triangle, we're going to have a bigger triangle so long as, if you're specifically training towards a marathon, you're developing your zone 3 and zone 4. And the only way to specifically build in zone 3, zone 4, zone 5 is to let your body freshen up to recover optimally with the recovery runs and easy runs so that you can hit the big sessions well, execute them well so you're getting that improvement, that super compensation consistently with patience over time. And so in answer to Oliver's question, so let's get to the point. I'm telling you that the gray zone is going too quickly, being in zone 3 essentially when you're meant to be recovering in zone 1 and zone 2. But because it's a misused term, we see it as a bad thing, when in actual fact, there will be time during the week in the key sessions that you'll be exactly in the gray zone, but for that session and the intention of that session, you're not in the gray zone at all. You're in exactly the zone that you're supposed to be. I hope that helps, and I'll put on the screen a couple of videos that will help you get better in your long runs and faster in your 5K.